Boom, I think we are live. Let's check over to the YouTube page real quick. All right, there we go. We are up and running. So today is a real exciting day. We get to finally present, I think my microphone's plugged in. I think we finally get to present the Costa Rica video. This is a long one in the making. I hope everyone liked it. It's real exciting to share a project like this after over a month of working on it. So let's see who's cruising in here. If you guys can comment that you can hear me okay and you can see me okay, that would help me reduce a little bit of my anxiety that this whole contraption's working. Let's see here. Who do we have in the chat? We are just beginning our live stream. So if you're cruising in and watching this stream, go ahead and click that like button to get us higher up in the stream so we can get a few more people to see it. I'd love to get some more eyeballs in that Costa Rica video, especially while it's brand new and hot. It'd be cool to trip the trending logarithm on YouTube. It'd be really cool. Gustavo from Mexico, welcome to the live chat. How are you? Perfect. Si me pueden decir si me oyen y viven todo bien, estaría fantástico. Yeah, that would be great. Pete, morning in Australia. Ew. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Glad this is working. So, first up, I wanted to give everyone a heads up. If you haven't heard yet, I'm doing a giveaway with PNW components. Got this beautiful custom painted handlebar and matching stem. It's a range handlebar made out of 7075 T73 aluminum. So it's definitely quite light, but what's more important is that it's got quite a bit of natural flex properties to it. So it rides pretty similar to a carbon bar, but it's a bit more impact resistant, which is pretty cool. 780 width on the handlebar. It's a range stem, 45 millimeter length. This is the traditional 31.8 setup. Lately, folks have been asking about the 35 mil stuff, and I haven't tried anything super new, but the stuff I have tried a couple years ago, it was crazy stiff. So hopefully that's getting engineered soon. Recently, yeah, I haven't heard of anyone making a 35 millimeter stuff more flexible, but the 31.8, you can't beat it. It's comfortable, it's plenty strong, and it's a heck of a lot more oversized than what we used years ago. I believe that's an 1.1 inch, right? That's the same size I use on my motorcycle. It's plenty big enough for mountain bikes. So if you want to win this handlebar stem, all you got to do is click the link in the description, sign up for the PNW components and my own newsletter, and that enters you to win these handlebars. So definitely keep that in mind. What's up, man, from San Francisco? D Nutter, I'm not sure how to pronounce your first name. Pete, these handlebars are rad. They would look killer on your bike. All you got to do is join an email list and boom, you're in the runnings. So I kind of am sad to give them away. I kind of wanted to tell no one because these would look sweet on my bike. Yeah. So anyhow, handlebars are going to be rad. I'm really stoked on working with PNW components. Bunch of good dudes, good little partnership. So back to the Costa Rica video. Big thanks to Eric Mickelson for the awesome photos. The whole project, like, it has that really cool consistent look between Eric's photographs and then Logan Nelson. He did a great job on the video, and we're able to show those guys a little bit of each other's work, so they had an idea of what the kind of the coloring and style would be, so we could kind of try to match it a little bit. John, hopefully you guys can win them. Get in there. But yeah, the Costa Rica project was super fun. I've always wanted to do more stuff with Latin America. Oddly enough, I haven't visited much in Latin America. I've been to Mexico a handful of times. We did the Riding Mexico video end of last year. That was really fun. And I'd never been to Costa Rica prior to that trip. It was a 72-hour trip, really short. Flew down on a Monday, rode and shot Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, flew home Friday morning. This is kind of the wrong time of the year to go to Costa Rica. So rather than cancel the trip because it's the wrong time or whatever, Oscar said, just come, it's gonna be fine. It'll rain every afternoon, ride in the mornings. And that worked really well. I kind of like that setup because it was a little less intense. If you have like a really big amount of time to shoot, you're stressing out that you're not working and that you need to be shooting, and then you get totally blown out and tired, and yeah, that can be tough. And then if you have no time, you're just struggling as well. So I think that 3-day trip was pretty good. Getting all kinds of notifications here. Let's see. Checking in with the comments for a quick second. So Tim from New Zealand, what did I actually do to my shoulder? So I broke the front of the scapula. It's called the acromion. That broke off. It did not displace, but it still hurts pretty good. And then I got a pretty minor, but a grade 2 AC ligament separation of the same shoulder. And a couple of years ago, I took a really bad crash to my left side, broke my pelvis, smashed the shoulder super hard, and we didn't see much on MRIs, ultrasounds, x-rays from 2 years ago. They think it was just a bad bone bruise, but for like 8 weeks, I couldn't do a push-up because my shoulder hurt. So this time around, I think I re-aggravated that same injury, plus broke that acromion. And then my pelvis hit the ground really hard, and thank goodness it didn't break. It turned purple and had a giant gash right there, but thank goodness it didn't break again. I've broken both sides of my pelvis now, and I'm kind of ready to be done breaking that bone. It hurts, especially as we get older. Yeah, let's check out a few more of the comments here. Gif Cutler asks about Spanish. I spent a year living in Spain, and we actually did a family trip to Mexico when I was like 13 years old. I went to a family friend's wedding. He skydived into his wedding. It was really cool. And at that wedding, I was 13. None of the girls there could speak English. So I kind of had a few years of Spanish classes and realized if I was going to chat with all the Mexican gals, I needed to understand more Spanish. So I got pretty motivated. And then we went back to Spain. A couple years later, I think I was 17, we did a family bike ride across Spain. And I'd been practicing quite a bit and trying. I was just interested in learning it. And then I was able to practice my Spanish a ton in every single town we visited on the bike ride. It was just a month-long bike tour across Spain. And then I studied abroad there from 2005 to 2006, long time ago. And yeah, I learned a ton. So I was working with a lot of Spanish-speaking customers at WTB and at IBIS. And now I've got this weird situation where I've got a giant bike industry vocabulary. So I can sell you a container of wheels in Spanish, but I have a hard time ordering dinner. So weird little random bit of Spanish to learn, but so just riding trails, that editing is all Logan Nelson. I didn't edit that one. Logan's an amazing editor, and he's got really good taste, and he's got really good color correction skills, and his sound design is phenomenal. So yeah, Logan does great work. Big thanks to Logan for putting it all together. Alex, I saw your quote about your hometown in Cuba. Yeah. I would love to go mountain biking in Cuba one day. I've thought about getting down there, and I know Pivot did a cool video. I don't remember if I watched it or not. I don't really watch a whole ton of videos because I'm pretty pinned for time, so I'm often trying to make videos. So my influences are more outside of the bike world simply because I don't have time to watch the bike videos. But yeah, Cuba sounds really cool. And I'm sure there's great riding down there too. Oof. Mountain Bike Geek. An ACL injury would have been terrible, but yeah, AC ligament in the shoulder, they're not good, but I had a grade 3 on this side when I was like 16 years old, so this side hangs real low. And this side hangs a little bit lower than it used to, but it's not nearly as bad as it could have been. So yeah, thank goodness shoulder is not doing too bad. I rode yesterday, second bike ride back, definitely not 100%. Anytime I try to like wheelie into an obstacle, like bump jump, that like fast motion coming out hurts real bad. Anytime I try to even if I try to grab something too fast, it really hurts a ton. And then landing from jumps and impacts is, there's a really sweet dirt jump jam this weekend that I really want to go to. I did it last year, have a video on my channel buried 100 videos ago from the Shire Jam. I'd love to go again this year, but I don't think I can ride. These are big jumps, 10-foot tall BMX jumps. You're going really high, and if I were to case one of those, it would be bad news bears. So, but it'd be so sweet to ride. And if I didn't case anything, they're smooth enough that it'd probably be okay on the shoulder. So that's a tough call. Let's check out some more comments. Just riding trails, blew out an AC ligament. Yikes, that sounds terrible. John asks if I have a favorite place to ride. That's a great question. Honestly, usually my favorite thing in mountain biking is going down a rad trail for the first time blind and just going for it and just having to ride it blind on the fly, just interpret the trail as quick as possible. So that's just that first run on a good technical trail that's fairly predictable. That's hard to beat. And you can have that just about anywhere that has good trails. More specifically, I've had fun in Queenstown Bike Park in New Zealand. Whistler trails all around the valley outside of the bike park are amazing. The North Shore looks really cool. I want to ride more up there. Man, Santa Cruz area was really fun for a long time. There's so many good places to ride. I liked riding in Spain too because there's a lot of fast trails that were old moto trails. And I'm not very good at high speed riding. I'm more into like the technical 25 miles an hour and slower type trails. So the fast stuff was cool to check out. John, mountain bike geek, I'm sorry to hear about that. Ouch. Oi. Yeah, so I hope everyone is able to see the Costa Rica video. That thing was really fun to do. I kind of wanted to go and do something a little bit different, a little bit less about me and my riding, and just learn about other people and their situation a little bit more. So that was really cool. Let's see. Fracturing ribs. That's no good. Right on, guys. Well, one last shout out. If you haven't yet, remember P&W Components handlebar giveaway. Just click that link in the description below and you can be entered to win. Cam67 has a good question. Who does the drone when you film? Well, in this case, Logan is flying our drone. There's no drone laws in Costa Rica, so that was really cool. But yeah, I've just got a cheap little Mavic DJI Mavic Air. It's right here. Yeah, tiny little thing. Everyone asks about drones, and I'm actually gearing up to do a drone review video because I have a ton of experience using this little guy. It's basically the size of a cell phone. It's tiny. So I might do a review video. I don't know. I feel like it's the least important piece of camera gear you can possibly own. Everyone's excited about drones, but you don't use the footage a whole lot, and when you do use it, it's good for a couple seconds, and then you can easily overdo it. So if I was starting out and wanted to amass a photography quiver, a camera gear quiver, I think the last thing I'd get would be a drone. And I got such a cheap one simply because it's, to me, so unimportant when making a video. But if you have it, it makes for some cool scenics and establishing shots and transitions. Thanks, Christian. Christian, the food in Costa Rica was good. It's definitely a lot of gallas, kind of like tacos, but they would say they are not tacos. And we had really good food down there, surprisingly expensive. Even at like the regular mom and pop restaurants, comida típica costarricense, it was good, but it was spendy. It was like, you know, you might have a good lunch in the States for 15 US at a restaurant. Down there, it would be $8 or $9 US for a good lunch, at least. So not as cheap as like Mexico, for instance, but really good nonetheless. Gallo Pinto. Yeah, we definitely had Gallo Pinto. Muchas gracias. Cam asks if motocross hurts my riding in any way. I don't think so. I think it's a huge benefit to ride a little bit of dirt bikes. I don't ride much motocross. I ride more trails. It's a huge help to me. My riding style is tons of just pulling back on the handlebars, rear wheel bonks, and everything. And that's exactly how I ride my dirt bike. So it's good to do that at higher speeds on the motorcycle. And that means on the mountain bike, everything's a little bit mellower because I'm used to doing it 15 miles an hour faster. So it definitely helps a ton. I don't think it hurts in any way, as long as you're cognizant of how to lean forward on the motorcycle and how to lean back on the bicycle. And regarding the Ripmo, I really like that bike. So I've always thought it felt kind of like an HD4, just, if anything, more well balanced and just a better all-around bike. It might give up a little bit to the HD4 on the super gnarly stuff, but for everything else, which is the majority of what we all ride, the Ripmo does really, really, really well. At this point, I'd say I'm feeling more comfortable on the Ripmo than on the HD4. I'm looking forward to riding more 27.5 bikes soon. I just got my Mojo 3 all back together, and I can't wait to ride that thing some more. But yeah, the Ripmo's cool. I've been having a lot of fun. My wife's been loving hers. She's coming off of a standard Ripley, And she's much more of a cross-country rider, but she's digging the Ripmo. It's weighs similar to what her Ripmo weighs, and it just does everything better. On like a fire road mellow climb, or something really steep where the weight plays into it, it's not even really that much heavier, but on like mellow stuff, the bigger tires, she feels like they kind of slow her down just a hair. But like, she's got 2 6s on that instead of the 2 3s on her Ripley. That's why. But yeah, she's digging it. It's super nimble and easy to handle. It's not massive overkill for the majority of trails. It's just the sweet spot for the Ripmo is very wide. I think that's cool. Christian, I have no idea about an elliptical machine. I've never played around with one of those. Concept 2 rowers have been helpful for me because there's a lot of lat muscles and delta. Like when you pull back on the handlebar, it's kind of similar to pulling back on the rowing machine. So I've used rowing machines much more than any other machine in the gym, and I like to time out intervals on them. Like do a sprint 500 meters or do a sprint 250 meters and then on off type intervals. And I really like the rowing machine. I think it helps a ton, especially with the intervals. Jiff loves his Ripmo. Cool. So Tom, I have come to the Swiss Alps, and I actually compound fractured my ring finger in the Swiss Alps. So I was riding with Lucas Anrig and Rudi Hauser that day, and yeah, broke that finger off, bent my pinky back all the way, and had to pop it back into place. It's still a mess. I want to get back to the Alps. They're awesome. I liked the regular Alps trails more so than the bike parks. The bike parks are cool, but the regular trails were just really fun. Choose your own adventure. Totally very natural, rugged trails. Those are cool. Really cool. Ben, for getting your wife into mountain biking, I think you need to find like a women's ride group or some other gals that are riding. If it's just you and her and you're trying to get her into riding, that's a lot harder, but she has other friends that she can ride with. I think that is the secret. Cam, I looked up to a lot of riders. It was really cool to see Brian Lopes ride in person. He's kind of a couple generations ahead of me, so he was just getting into mountain bikes when I was just getting into BMX. And it's been cool seeing his career go along, and riding with him has been really cool. Man, there's been a ton of guys that have been really interesting to ride with. Yeah, so many. I'd love to ride with more people. I'd love to ride with Danny McCaskill one day. That'd be cool. Allie Clarkson would be super cool to ride with. Dunk Shaw, all the drop and roll guys would be cool to shred with. I remember seeing Jeff Lenoski in the magazines when I was just a little tyke. It was really cool to ride with him in Florida. And on the BMX side, man, got to ride with Ryan Nyquist a couple times, like over a decade ago, and that was really cool. Mountain Bike Geek John, have a great day. Thanks for chiming in. Sindre, I'd love to get to Norway. I know Torben over at Pro Bike, and it would be really cool to go up to Norway. And I think Zacharias Johansson from the Cube Enduro team is from Norway originally, but has lived in Sweden for years. But man, they could probably get me in touch with some of those guys. It'd be really cool to ride Norway. Yeah, Ryan's a shredder, and I rode with his younger brother Shay a bit when I was still in high school, but I was like super awkward 14-year-old, and he was like already in university. So yeah, that was a long time ago. Cool. Well, I think I'm gonna get back to some family time. So thank you everyone for watching the video. Thanks for chiming in here on the live stream. Eventually I'll figure out how to do more consistent live streams. So thank you all for the support. And if you haven't yet, click that link to enter the handlebar stem giveaway. It'd be worth your while. Right on. Thanks guys. Let's get to OBS and